Okay, let me just make sure that I'm live wherever I need to be live, and then we can start the show. Just to final check. Apologies, guys. Sometimes YouTube doesn't kick, and then the other one doesn't kick, and then but I am here. Okay. Let's have to start it there. Welcome, everybody, to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host. And this here is the show where we love South African football. We love African football. And every now and then we dip our toes into what is happening in Europe. Not that much. We haven't done that too much this season, thankfully, because you're Arsenal. So we've got Orlando Pirates versus Supersport United. Guys, this is just honoring fixtures. Let's be honest. Pirates is just honoring fixtures. Pirates is still heartbroken. Coach Jose is leaving. Coach Mandla, I don't know what his thoughts are about what's going to happen in the future of Pirates. And I wonder, guess who's playing? It's Amaya. Supersport. So we're going to see how that's going to pan out. Like I said, they're just ordering fixtures at this point because the league is gone. Doesn't matter what Pirates does. They're still going to lose. They're still not going to be able to catch Mamelodi Sundowns, who raised the trophy. And then, of course, Supersport is fighting for something because they find themselves number 14 on the log. 25 games played, 6 wins, 8 draws, 11 losses. They've scored 17 goals. They've conceded 26 goals for a grand total of 26 points. And then, of course, Orlando Pirates is number 2 on the log. 25 games played, 18 wins, 2 draws, 7 losses. 18 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses. They've scored 40 goals. They've conceded 18, and for a grand total of 56 points. In the last 5 games, they have 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Last game out was the 1-1 draw versus TS Galaxy. Before that, they had beaten Arrows 3-0. And then, of course, on the other side, Supersport United has, in their last game, lost to Stellies. And then the game before that, they won versus Chipa 2-0. The last 5 games that these two have played against each other, there's been one draw. Supersport has 1 win and Pirates has 3. The last time they saw each other was the Nedbank Cup when they drew 2-2, but then Pirates won 5-4 on penalties. The starting lineups are as follows. You have Zaza in goal. You have CB Simbogazi, Shandu Hoto, Selepe, Mbata, Maswanganyi, Nkota, Dlamini, and Mabasa as the starting lineup. Then, of course, Supersport has Mbanjwa in goal. Mobi, the pride of bafana, Nico Mobi. Satwayo Moralo, Lekei Mabue, Sano Kasaile, Ndlovu Baliti, and Aya as the starting lineup for Supersport United. So let's see what's going to happen in this game. I mean, Supersport is fighting for something, but they've been fighting so hard, Shem, at number 14. And then, of course, Pirates are, not that Waban to Bamniga's starting lineup, not Butelezi, not Chain. But yeah, guys, let's just go and play. But is it a friendly or not? Guys, it's a friendly. No, but Supersport legit needs some points here in order to just make sure that Cape Town City can't catch them at all. Mara Shem Pirates.
Surprise! It's over. But then soon so move on and get to me. I used to love you, but now I don't.
That's what Coach Jose said to Pirates. Kadala mapagane, kadala man. Kadala, we are 3 minutes in. At least Tudada wanted to touch the ball. There was a free kick that was played straight to him. He stopped that ball, and you could see Hoto coming through to say, "Yeah, well done, boy, on your debut. Let's not have it be a goal that comes in so cheaply." But the game's in hand, empty hands, no point. Mara guys, Pirates is man this season. Pirates is guys, like they closed the gap. It's not the 26 points last season. It's not the 26 points last season or the 19 other seasons before. So guys. Can we give them credit, man? Can you give them credit? Typical says Supersport needs to go down. Well, technically, there's an alleged rumor that Supersport won't be here. So they're not going to be able to go down again because they're not going to exist apparently the rumor says Bloemfontein Celtic is making it back into the league. That is the team that is going to be taking over. Very similar situation to when Bidvest divested from Bidvest Wits and left the team financially in a place where they couldn't even hope to have the team run. So they needed to be sold to UTTM. So that's what's allegedly going to happen to Supersport at the end of the season, which is going to be interesting because we lose another one of the teams that have been around for a very long time. Supersport is one of the remaining four right now. It's one of the remaining four that has been in the league ever since '96. The PSL era, there's only 4 teams that have been in every single season. And that's Chiefs, Mamelodi Sundowns, Pirates, and then of course Supersport. Before that, Bidvest was actually the other team that had done that in '96 until they got disbanded. So, to see if we can't win that trophy. Okay, let's see. Pirates doing the Lord's work, says Boggs. Yeah, it's nice at PSL. People are playing friendlies in May. Big team full stadium. Mara, why are you guys like this? But can Cape Town City avoid relegation? I do not believe they can. Let me just have a look. I do not believe they can. So that's going to be interesting to see. Let me just check. Let me just check the table quickly, and we can do some quick math to see. Okay, so Cape Town City is actually sitting on 26 points, but they've got a game in hand. Golden Arrows is slightly above them, 1 point away, and Supersport is actually 1 point away as well. But they do, according to this, have a game over Cape Town City. So technically, mathematically, it could still go down to the final day there. Are Pirates practicing for the next season now? How? They're saying the coach. What's happening with my mic? Wait. What's happening with my mic? Let me check. Okay, I think we're better now. Are we better now? Oh, is it doing that thing again? Wait. We did this before. Okay, we're good. Okay. Now I'm hearing myself. Let me just switch myself off. Okay, 7 minutes in. It really does feel like it's a training match, this one. As you can see, both teams, nobody's jumping out of the window to do something crazy. So that's something. Yeah, this is why, and like this is why. I need to get those, is it Boya? Those Boya wireless. That's what I need. Yeah, guys. Thank you, Xolile, for just reminding everybody. Guys, the latest episode of my podcast is out right now on YouTube. So please support after the game is done. I'm also going to release my reviews of what I think of what happened in the game and what I think of everything afterwards as well. Okay, guys, hey, I almost forgot that the sound's back. So let me just see. What are you guys saying about how this game is going to end? Tell me what your predictions are for this game. I know. Homework, but it's all
the game has changed today. There's betting, there's all these people are emotional.
Yeah, people are emotional. What are emotions saying, guys? Because the bets, yeah, he almost said it. I don't want to get thingy. You should host a live session. No, we'll work it out. It's something that I've wanted to do. Patrice says 3-0 Pirates. Patrice, who Saile? Saile is on fire these days. What Kora these days? Nasa Koriko Chiefs, Marakimo. Utsukile ko Supersport. Okay, here comes a corner to Supersport. You know what's interesting about Supersport? What's interesting about Supersport is that they find themselves in this place. But I always thought that Supersport, having Bradley Grobler, having Juamanja, having Nurkovic, I thought they'd be a lot more dangerous than this. You know, in the beginning of the season, we were speaking about how Grobler got injured early and he was out of the game. So we all thought, okay, Supersport is going to struggle because obviously record goal scorer, I think he's number 3 all time. The guy who's behind Shalulile, give or take, because Shalulile some days is number 1, some days is number 2, some days record Pele is 129 goals, some days it's 123. There's so much happening. But in any case, There's a chance there by Supersport. I thought that those guys would play. I mean, if you think about it, you'd imagine that the best helicopter that you can buy, the best helicopter that you can get, happens to be Samir Nekovic with Krobler. So if you could find somebody who could put the balls in, surely you trust those guys to do something. But lo and behold, as Bugelabo Saile in the starting lineup, Christian Pasomboli Saile is starting for Supersport. Guys, I don't know, I don't know. But in any case, we are back in the game. One of the things that Pirates has to look out for in this game, and maybe what Supersport can do well against them, is just try to make sure that Pirates is forced to play long balls. So what tends to happen a lot of the time is that if Pirates can't build the ball up properly through the middle. I mean, Silepe is somebody you might ask to do that job, but he's just arrived. You can't ask him to do it consistently. So if you're looking at Silepe and you're saying that he must build up the ball, I guess that's not quite going to happen. So what usually happens is that Bogazi is then forced to get the ball and play long balls out. And if you can make those long balls physical duels, you probably stand a much better chance of containing Pirates, because Pirates doesn't score like that. This midfield is a very interesting setup because there's Mbata, there's Silepe, and there's Utito. Mbata and Silepe, like I said, Silepe is probably going to come and collect the ball a lot more. Mbata will have to maybe do more of the defensive duties if Supersport is dangerous at all. But if you look at what happens, watch. Okay, who's getting the ball now? Long, Spisi, long ball. You see? So if you can literally just have bodies, commit, you force Pirates to go long. And when they go long, if you can keep your defense, if you can just keep your defense disciplined, don't allow the space that they allowed now, right? Almost not man mark, but stay in your zone a little bit better. You're going to win a lot of balls simply because Pirates is playing it high. So that's going to be interesting. What's also interesting is that Mabasa is on the pitch. So you'd imagine that Tito is going to have a lot more space. Now, again, the only problem is that you have to get the ball to Tito for him to be effective. But if you can do that, he's going to have a little bit more space. Umfukeng has been rested for this game. So we are seeing Kota playing on the left-hand side. I believe I saw him pop up on the left-hand side. And we'll see what Lamini does as well on that side. So let's see. No, Kota's back on the right. Okay, Kota's back on the right. I'm on the left. Poor coaching, let's be honest. Pirates is just issuing debuts to the DDC players. Nothing much to expect, really. Supersport United 1-0, says David. Kunzi says Pirates 3-0 Supersport. Kopano says, how do you think PSL and Motsepe clubs can fix poor stadium attendance? Well, Kopano, for me, it's simply, what am I going to go watch? Like, am I doing charity to go watch these teams play on a weekend? What am I going to go see? Is there a star player that I'm going to go see? Is there good football that I'm going to go see? Are there other incentives that make me want to go there? Do I feel pride for the team that I'm following? What is it that's going to make me want to get up on a random day and go watch a team in the stadium, right? Are there performances halftime? What's the reason? Why am I going? You know, is there maybe a concert afterwards? You know, the rugby teams are now doing concerts after their games. Well, some of them, the big games, they'll do a concert after where they can also charge tickets there and make it that you watch the game, you then watch the concert afterwards. What is it that's making me go to the stadium? That's what I think we need to answer. What is it that's making me feel closer to this team and want to go watch it? Now, what are the things that you probably could do that's easier? Okay, let me start with the hard one. The hard one would be the stadiums where they're located. Now, you can't move stadiums, obviously. But look at what happened when Mamelodi Sundowns went to go play in Buffalo City. Look at how full it is because they're starved of football. Could there be a PSL-wide roadshow that happens where you go, okay, guys, Chipa is in the Eastern Cape. So Chipa games, they have, what, 28 games? No, 30 games. They have 30 games, right? 10 of those games are going to be played in Buffalo City. 5 of those games are going to be played in a small town somewhere. 5 more of those games are going to be played in another small town somewhere. And then 10 of those games will be played go NMMU. Well, actually, no, let me rephrase that. It's 15 home games. So of the 15 home games, 5 go to random local stadiums. 5 go to Buffalo City, 5 go to NMMU. Or they go to that stadium, Kakwa, right? Maybe then you start stoking it and saying, okay, you guys have not seen professional teams come through. I remember when I was young, all those years ago, Kaizer Chiefs played Ajax Cape Town, Kotema Stadium in a preseason. I know it's not a league game, but I'm just using an example. In a preseason game, we were buzzing because we were like, oh, Kaizer Chiefs, full Kaizer Chiefs was there. They even have a Legends game before that. Gordon Iggerson was coaching Ajax, I think, at the time. And that was something that created an event, right? So could you focus on some of those things? Some of the teams in KZN. Maybe there's other stadiums around KZN that you could go to as sort of a roadshow, for example. And I know these things will probably not be done, but this is what I'm trying to say. Make them feel like they are exhibition games, right? That's something you could do. Number 2, you could actually go and outreach into the communities around the teams, and you could go and stir up support. Create a situation where those guys feel like this is our team. If you look at Arsenal, they go out and they shoot adverts for the local companies just around the stadium in that place of London. They have Abosaka, they have all those guys. They do those type of things to make at least the immediate community feel as though we are one of you guys. Maybe I go and watch a game if it's my team, right? Plenty of things I think that could be done. But yeah, I am just the guy sitting on the outside on TikTok speaking about this. Anyway, why are we in the situation, the PSL, where other teams are done and others have 3 games left? I believe it was because of Pirates and Sundowns being in action. But then remember what I told you guys. Remember what I said when we had the conversation about scheduling. There's no need for the whole week of the Nedbank Cup to be off. Play some games midweek. There's no need. Play some games Sunday after you have the fixtures, because half of the teams are not playing in that. Why are they sitting at home? You get what I mean? Scheduling needs to be a little bit better there. Reason OT is support. We didn't say some teams to be small. Yeah, but how do you drum up support, guys? How do you drum up support? That's what I'm trying to say. How do you drum up support? What are the things that you have to go do as a team? You're not gonna wake up. There's plenty of things that we have to do. Like, for example, I'm a content creator. There's a lot of things I had to do from the beginning for me to be here, right? And build and whatever and learn and grow. How many of the teams do those type of things? You've spoken about small things. When you open up your app, you now see Sundowns. You now see Chiefs. You now see Pirates doing series and things like that. When Chiefs arrives at a stadium, they go live. Just arriving. The bus pulls in, the players walk out, they're live. Have you ever seen a Supersport United live? How much would that cost? Like, there's things, man. Marketing is not just about hey, love my team, whatever. How many times are you getting the messaging out? What are you doing with those type of things? Would it help TS Galaxy if every barbershop Ngale was a TS Galaxy barbershop? If every checkout before they played, Team Sugazi goes into his pocket and says, okay, I will fund 500 kids. Every time we play, we've got a TS Galaxy Friday, TS Galaxy weekend. So when you walk around in Bombela, you can't get a... Anyway. The 18 minutes in, it is 0-0. We need to sell these teams to European and Middle Eastern owners. Came for Pirates, Ayada. It's MMU, sorry. Preseason game for Orlando Pirates has started. I want Chiefs to play here in Dobsonville, says Brady. You see, imagine. Hi, David. Relax. Behave. Tapani says they needed Mogazi's muscles to lift Jose Rivera. Okay. Can I ask a question since we're talking Pirates? Does Pirates do what they did before Ribeiro, where they had a year where Mandla Ngigazi and Fadlu were the head coaches? Do you do that just to allow the team to think about what they need to do, to think about what they're seeing outside, all of that type of stuff to get their plans right? Do you think that they do that, or do you get in a coach immediately And maybe immediately means next week, Shano Coach Omusha is sitting in the stands. What do? Taji, welcome. Mara, it's nice to be Sundowns players now. They're just watching. Lorenz. Mara Lorenz. Hey, Mara. Oh, nice turn. Offside. Unlucky. No, we need a new coach, says Tins. Mkabela says, I think we need Rulani before any movement in the transfer window. Can I ask? Okay, can I ask? When you bring in this new coach, right? You bring him in, he's fresh again. Is it wise to let them sign immediately? Because Coach Jose Rivero didn't sign immediately. He didn't even have a preseason when he arrived at Pirates. And maybe that forced him to get to grips with the culture of the team, the culture of management, how things work, and maybe forced him to look at other people that maybe he wouldn't normally look at before. I don't even think he signed that much, but before signings, before doing all that stuff. Do you think that period is very important? Like, for example, Nabi right now probably knows more now about the South African league than he would have known when he arrived. So if he arrived, then he signed, as Chiefs did, would it play out differently? Or if he had now this season to acquaint himself, would he be better off? Maybe that's the question we should be asking. Orlando Pirates can really achieve what you said. Their stadium is walkable and local residents. Yeah, but is it exciting? I guess that's what I'm asking. Well, okay, let's use Pirates as the example. Orlando is right there. The fans are right there. Everybody's right there. Cool. Okay. Everybody's right there. What would happen? What needs to happen? Let me ask the comments. What needs to happen for Pirates fans to feel like 30 games of the year, we need to go and watch this thing? What would make them feel that way? Why we need a South African coach? The period he wouldn't need to last long. Would you trust that coach? Now I always ask the same question. I don't think South African coaches are bad. I just think South African coaches are not trusted. Honestly speaking, South African coaches are not taken seriously. And when I mean seriously, the prime example I'm going to use now, when I mean seriously, Coach Nebi finished worse than Kevin Johnson and Mulifinteki. He has a worse record. And Atazwani finished way better. He was fifth, right? But listen to what we're saying, right? So do our perceptions of local coaches also need to change? And the example that I always use again is also Coach Pitso. Tate Motsepe had to come out and say, guys, yeah, this is my guy. Whether Nialwa, whether Nienzani, I trust him. And when I trust him, I mean I'm going to back him. If we must sign 15 players, I'll sign 15 players. If we must get rid of 20 players, we'll get rid of 20 players. Do local coaches get that leeway? Or is it a thing that us as South African fans were too close? So Mandla Ncigazi right now, people forget that Mandla Ncigazi took Orlando Pirates to a CAF Confed final. Him and Fadlu. So he's not a bad coach by any stretch of the imagination. But we can't even fathom giving him 10 games. Look at Mangoba Mngiti this season. We couldn't fathom giving him X amount of games, right? From the minute he took over. And to be fair, Cardoso was judged too. But how harsh are we with local coaches versus the international coaches? Think about the things people are saying about Mandla Ncigazi right now. From the last game, there was a draw. What happened? People are going off. This is why. What. Not taking into account that Coach Jose wobbled a little bit at times. So we don't give them a proper chance. And sometimes these guys, the overseas guys, turn out to actually be plumbers. I didn't know who Coach Jose was before he got to Pirates. I didn't know who Coach Vemezovic was before he got to Chiefs. I didn't know who Ruud Krol was like that before he got to Pirates. I didn't know who Johan Nielskens was when he got to Sundowns. But for some reason, we trust them. For some reason, we trust them. We need a coach that will play 2 strikers up front. Interesting. 4-4-2 or 3-5-2 or 5-3-2. I hope whoever the coach will be is already watching how the boys play. Depends on the coach. Wonder if they'll buy Marco Reus players if he comes. There's that rumor, Marco Reus. I think I see PhD here. He'll tell us. PhD, when I open in the second half, you must tell me what's happening there at your team. Onkabetsu says, we have games in hand, we don't lose. Mangoba is not a good coach. Is he not a good coach? Is the problem maybe that our coaches tend to choose jobs that they're not suited for? You know, sometimes if you're a champagne coach, you can't be drinking orange juice. How you the orange juice? Yeah, sometimes sometimes everybody needs to stick to their lane, you know. Look at your Zwane. We finished 5th, removed Chiefs at 3rd, was better at coaching. Masi says even at Arrows. No, Arrows, you have to ask the question. Siema should be given Pirates. Kana Siema's coaching Lesotho, ne? How crazy is that? Siema's coaching Lesotho. A coach that took 2 teams to top 5 in 1 season. He got fired from a job, went to a next one and put them in top 5. He got fired from a job, put them into a CAF Conference, Iskukude. And now he's coaching in Lesotho because our teams are like, no, thank you. No, thank you. OT, is it fair is it fair to Sundowns when they play final and PSL is also playing other games? PSL needs to catch up because part of the reason why there's these games is because of CAF. So lest we forget, Pirates was competing in CAF, but also they need to finish up their calendar, unfortunately. But I think also because the final shouldn't have that much of an effect on Sundowns, I think finishing these games should be fine. Baxter left Chiefs at 3rd and Yozwani took it to 5th, and it says a lot about local coaches. Well, in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, that's a very good finish. And shouldn't he be given time afterwards, after that? The game that I'm watching though, Amatamba Wahlangani says Unik. Guys, the emotions are gone, man. The emotions are gone. The want to play these games is gone. It's just tough, man. I think that's the tough punishment on Pirates, that they have to play these games that are of no consequence. But I think this could be great practice because, as I always say, Pirates doesn't lose because they're outplayed or the other team has come and swept them off of the pitch. They lose because of focus. They lose because of games that maybe they should be taking seriously in the league sense that they're not taking seriously, right? I think the difference between Sundowns and Pirates a lot of the time is that Sundowns doesn't seem to take games off. They take everybody seriously. They play as hard as for everybody. They score their 3 goals. They go to sleep. Pirates sometimes, if it's a cold Tuesday afternoon, if it's a cold Tuesday evening, they're playing cheaper. It's not that cheaper's good. It's just that Pirates didn't pitch for that game. So maybe mentally, these are the games that it's good practice when it actually means nothing to get up for the games or to learn how to motivate the guys for the games, you know? Maramangoba or something else. What makes him struggle when he was there, when Rulani left? Did he really struggle, guys? To be fair, I know the final, he lost the final and all of that, but was there a struggle? The question we should be asking is, after 12 years for Sundowns, coaching outside of Sundowns is a completely different job, man. That's why I'm like, hey, Rulani mustn't come back. Even if he was to take a random, he mustn't come back. You're not that guy anymore. Or you're not that guy with development anymore. You are a how perika uperikala cruzette. Yeah. Okay, Pitso took Mangoba under him when he was fired by Arrows. Mangoba ukhuliswe nge-orange juice, bro. Ukhuliswe ngayo, but the rest of his life, for 12 years of his life, He was eating only the finest. 7-course meals. Bekadla lama plate lakhona. Line zambaneli one, but shrimp phezulu. But this is course 5. Our coaches have favoritism. That's the issue. That's also an issue. To be fair, that's also an issue. So when Pitso left, people thought he was good. I think Pitso was amazing. But I think Pitso was good in the sense that what Pitso understood was not that, okay, he understood the tactics of the game, but he also understood the getting into people's heads and hearts. But Pitso Magafiga, I think Tico said it. But Pitso Magafiga, he gets you on side first. He gets you wanting to die for him first, wanting to run through walls for him first. That's where he starts. Man management. So when things get tough, you are fighting for your coach. I love it too. I don't have any quality players. Look at these guys. But the fried sushi tastes great, most. Not all of it. Malume Kutsa, I'm also honoring the fixture, Malume Kutsa. I'm honoring the fixture, Kitare. I'm honoring the fixture. 30 minutes in, it is 0-0. I'm honoring the fixture. See why Mandla can never coach Pirates. Local coaches are... Internet, guys, okay. I was doing this earlier. Let's see. Let's go through PSL era and talk about the coaches that have won the league, right? And let's look at their nationalities, right? Okay. So Ted Dimitri's got 4. He's Romanian. Let's see. Ruud Krol's got 1. That's 5. I'm trying to think of all of the foreigners. Miguel Gamondi, technically, we'll give him the 1, but we'll also give 1 to South Africa because Neil Tovey was there. That's 6 of them. Stuart Baxter. Stuart Baxter 1. Was it 2? Or 1? 2. So that's 9. Sundowns has now won 8 straight. So that's already 8 that they've won with local coaches. Gordon Iggesund has 4. That's 12. So already, I think local coaches have been way more successful than international coaches in the league, to be fair. And let's be fair. Look at where Nabi is. Look at where Coach Pablo Franco Martin was. Look at where Fortosa was or ended up. I think, yeah, look at where Fortosa ended up. Look at where a lot of the coaches ended up that are foreign. Are we not looking at foreign coaches with nice, funny, with rose-colored, rose-tinted glasses because they're foreign? UEFA what? Why he was fired, where he comes from? Mara, we're going, no, this is the guy. Supersport can make it to top 8. They mathematically. He didn't struggle. He lost the dressing room. That was the issue. True, Nkabetsi. Sundowns always wanted a foreign coach. Tammy says our South African coaches talk too much. Tabi. Now, Bobo Ramovic were on it. Rulani won't survive at Pirates. Will come back with a lodge. Even besides that, I wouldn't want Rulani at Pirates because I don't think they match personality-wise. I know we take it for granted. But those are the small things. What is your personality? Pirates is not just about being local or whatever. Sometimes it's just about how do you handle pressure? Well, not pressure. How do you handle noise? How do you handle the press? How do you handle the media, to Tammy's point? How do you handle everything that's happening? Sometimes you need to play dumb, honestly speaking. Palacios, okay, Palacios. Do we count? Do you count? Okay, no, we'll count him. Foreign coaches that come here are unknowns. Just because he's from Spain, they think he's good. No. It's not that they look good. Ne? Let me see, what was it? Unknowns, just because he's from Spain, they think he's good. That I'm a team to our respect. Let's have a real conversation. Of the local coaches, let's have a 100% real conversation. Of the local coaches, how many of the local coaches could sit across Dr. Ivan Khoza and tell him where to get off? How many of the local coaches could sit across Bobby that the Kaizer and tell them where to get off when things are going wrong? How many of the local coaches? How many of the local coaches will take the Pirates job and take it as like a, "Oh, you're doing me such a big favor"? It's like Lintona's development. How many of them are negotiating? How many of the agents are negotiating good contracts with these teams? Like great, ironclad, it's for my client with these teams. Why? They've got that relationship inside. Maybe they've got that fear, they've got that respect, for the guys. If you listen to the foreign agents, they don't care. They don't. That's why they keep winning cases. So I think it's also a similar thing where, for some reason, these guys, remember Baxter, when Baxter arrived, remember how disrespectful Baxter was when he arrived? From Butaka Pirates, and he said, I don't know what a Pirates is, guys. I don't know what a Pirates is. I'm here to do a job. We'll see the Pirates as we go along, but it doesn't mean anything to me. Now imagine if you're a former player or whatever and you're going to go play Pirates. What type of feelings go through you? And then what happens when you speak out? But I don't want to say anything. I went to Instagram. Thank you, Shireen. Please follow on Instagram, guys. I need to get my Instagram numbers up. I said, please, guys. It's for brand work. The brands ask for Instagram, so they don't care as much how big. Okay, they do, but then how big the TikToks and things are. But please help me on that side. You just have to follow. I said, please. Marcel Koller, former Ahly coach. Ooh, interesting. I know he's free. Lebza, it's a training game, man. Otis, the contract is difficult and costly to get rid of foreign coaches. Yeah, but Litabo, why? Why? Why is it difficult and costly to get rid of them? I'll give you an example. Dylan Shepherd, allegedly. The reason why Chiefs couldn't get rid of him as easily is because his contract was ironclad. They had positions and everything written down. So you couldn't mess with him. But Palacios and Dimitri are South Africans. They arrived here during... I wanted to say, do we count them? Do we count them? But even if we do count them, I think local coaches still edge. And to be fair, I also want to be very fair. It's a generalization. Even with the local coaches, Egerson has 4, Gavin Hunt has 4, Pitso has 4. So we're also accounting for those guys that even with the local coaches who have won, it's still only like 4 of them. Even with the international coaches that have won, it's still only like 5 of them. It's not like one come international coach or figure a winner, one come a local coach a winner. So we also have to keep that in mind. Look at VV at Chiefs, 1 cup every season. Yeah, I think Chiefs had a streak, 1 cup every season until... It was VV who broke the... Was it VV or Steve who broke it? The trophies, because we used to win at least 1 every year for a very long time. I think Lipo Papic won. Papic, when he was at Chiefs, won a trophy, didn't he? I'm not sure. I have to look it up. Shame with Bruce, he's changed his rhetoric. The Insta account is Overthinking Football Show. Overthinking Football Show. Orlando Pirates over 1.5. Oh. Pirates would do 1.5. Okay. If Supersport doesn't want to catch 5 here or 4 here, they have to make sure that if Pirates scores, they calm down the game for the next 10 minutes, because Pirates scores in batches, and it can get hot very quickly if you're not awake. Was he? Hi, man. I'm trying to remember. Let me see. Yeah, he won. Wait. Papic. Papic was better, but lasted 6 months only, I remember. Hi, man. Didn't he win a trophy at Chiefs? I swear he won a trophy at Chiefs. I can't remember. Oh, age, guys. It's like, no, okay, 2000. I can't remember because I wasn't there. What are you guys talking about? I'm just reading this on I'm just reading this on I'm just reading this on the internet. I want to see. Wait. Kaizer Chiefs. He coached Kaizer Chiefs 2007. Okay, let's do it that way. Kaizer Chiefs trophies. The Kaizer Chiefs trophies. Sorry, guys, I just have to check this out. It is the 39th minute. Remember, halftime. I'm going to let 5 people in. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we will talk about something. Okay, let me see. Honors. Yeah, Telkom. Okay, 2007. Yeah, MTN 2006. Yeah, they won. It might not have been Papich, but we won a trophy every year up until Vivi, I think it was. Up until Vivi or Steve. But he's on and off, CAF Champions League. Yeah, but we won that season, Velile. We won a trophy that season. So it's not like that season with, okay, maybe, let me say it like this. I'm not going to attribute it to Konstantin Papic, but we won trophies. At least one every year. And this one was, it's either 2006 MTN 8 or Telkom Knockout 2007. We won it in that year, guys. Oksalayo, every year we were winning a trophy is what I'm saying. So they broke a thing. But in any case, what I wanted to say was, no, it was a registered trophy. Chiefs won a registered trophy 2006, a registered trophy 2007. Whether it was Papi or Oksalayo, the streak kept going. How? But in any case, the point I was making is that I don't think these foreign coaches that we speak about have been as impressive. Especially, I've got my podcast. I've got a podcast episode on my channel right now where I speak about this. But in essence, what I was saying, well, not in essence, a snippet of it, Chiefs and Pirates only have 8 league trophies in the PSL era. All of these foreign coaches and what they were speaking about have not been that good. Honestly speaking, they've not been that good. But we trust them because they're foreign. We love foreign things. Oh. Shot there, 41st minute, into the critical phases. Manuel Michel hits it over, Umabue. So, again, do we like these foreign coaches because they are good? Or do we like these foreign coaches because they are foreign? And what does that say about us? Is basically the question I'm saying. I'm putting on the table. What does that say about us as a people then when we're looking at these things? You get what I mean? Jose didn't win a league. And not to say that Jose was a bad person. Please understand me. Jose didn't win a league. So when we speak about taking a team to a league, we can't put Jose's name there. For example, and it's an example, please guys, it's an example. Right? So when we're measuring these coaches, we become unfair, I think, a little bit unfair. Honestly speaking, it's not that they deserve to be in this thing automatically or whatever, but all I'm saying is, if we've only won 4 in 30 years, we cannot be using that as a bar to say that now Umandla has to come in and win the league. We cannot use that as a bar if we're being honest with ourselves. For example, and I'm not saying that you must take him. Yeah, true that every season won a trophy or 2 until Mr. English. 2006 we won SA Super 8 and Absa Cup. Why are these teams still playing these games? So boring. Oh, now I told you. Now I told you. Did I not tell you guys? Did I not tell you guys? In Hollywood Bets, Tux and Mamelodi Sundowns spoke to each other and said, guys, last game, why are we playing this last game? Let's just leave it, man. In the PSL era, yeah, no, they only have 8. It's 4-4 in the PSL era. Literally 4-4 in the PSL era. They're good, just Sundowns. Loan policy is the one that's killing standard of football. Would you get a Pep to Pirate? Oh, wait. Let me deal with that one. Wait, hang on. They are good, just that Sundowns loan policy is the one killing the standard of football in SA. I will say what I always say. Nobody puts a gun to these teams' heads. And if it was such a big problem, they would sell to Chiefs and sell to Pirates rather than Sundowns if they felt as though Sundowns' dominance was an issue. If they wanted to compete, some of them, they would have held them. Guys, our teams are not poor. Our teams are not poor. Can we please not say that? A lot of the teams in the league have a lot of money and access. They're just not willing. They're just not willing to go and do the thing. So Supersport, for example, backed by MultiChoice. about not to be backed by MultiChoice, but all of those years the Supersport has been in the league, there was times where MultiChoice was one of the top earning companies in the country. They could have easily given Supersport a bigger budget, but they chose the model Stan Matthews. Stellenbosch is owned by a guy who's what, 6 times richer than Motsepe. Stellenbosch could wake up tomorrow and change everything in football if they wanted to. I don't even want to speak about Chiefs and Pirates, because even if they can't compete with Motsepe, let's say money-wise, you can't be number 9 Chiefs with the resources you have. Abu Amazulu have Zungu Investments backed by Grindrod, one of the biggest construction companies in the country. If they wanted to, they could. So now I will never blame Sundowns for doing what Sundowns is doing. If you have an advantage, go for it. It's up to the other guys to either fight you, find more money, or look at their players and say, we're going to make this more profitable for you guys. Or sponsors, we're going to make this more profitable. We live in a charity mindset. If we're being 100% honest, it's the charity mindset. We think that everybody must come bail these teams out just because they're teams. No, we must do the work. 15 years from now, Sundowns will be a great going concern financially because they had to take the opportunity cost at the beginning. Motsepe got his return. He's the chairperson of CAF. He's president of CAF. A lot of powerful things that can happen for you and your businesses up there. But you have to be willing to do it. But yeah, anyway. He's got also a good coach. I think he's a great coach. Let's have a policy where teams can't loan players in the same league. Nah, let's have a policy where don't sell your best players. Don't sell your best players. Also, actually, sorry, it's halftime. Actually, on that one, the loan system. If Sundowns' loan system, if I'm not mistaken, works very simply. If you are willing to pay the salary of that player, he can play against us. If you are not willing to pay, why would I pay? Why would I pay my own player's salary to play for you guys to come and beat me? No. So if you can pay the salary, pay it. You can play as much as you want. Anyway, Montana.
Yeah, OT.
Montana, I know we're honoring a fixture, but how do you feel about this first half? Welcome.
Hayi nakuthame ezantsi kwam.
Yeah.
PhD.
Nyambona.
Oh, uqala kum ikhosi. Okay.
Ngiqala nge-Q.
Okay. Hayi, they are just honoring the fixture. Even forget I'm watching football ndinqenqele nangoku apha kum ebhedini. I've said earlier we were speaking about a player of the season. Who do you think must be a player of the season? I had an unpopular opinion. I said it's really Mufokeng because he carried the club. A normal club like Pirates, so we really took off a team Pirates alone. There were injuries, kubekho into kaSalengi, but uthi kule ntwana a 22-year-old immature 20 or 22 whatever.
Yeah.
But he made a huge difference to the Pirates. Even now I'm watching, you don't have to be told to watch a match. You know Relay's not there. There's no creativity. There's nothing. It's the match is just try. So I said, at least Ribeiro, I don't say Ribeiro doesn't deserve it, but Ribeiro was playing in a better team than the Pirates in terms of equality and performance from individual players. That was my argument. But I sibukela iSunday League apha uthi pha le yamanqila kuyaselwa kuthetheni. But at least la Sunday League you ubona itsamaya phaya nezipayithu apha andiyazi ezi team. At least I would understand the Supersport. They are playing for something. But the Pirates, what is playing for?
Yeah.
They are not playing for anything. The league is over. Number 2 wabo is obvious.
Yeah.
But
Okay, well, okay,
and
no. Yeah.
my last one, I thought Ilantuka Uncikazi man was supposed to show even the management that this is how I want to play. It's a CV. Is submitting a CV. Show us what you made of. Ngoku akasibonisi nix. Kasibonisi nix.
I'm gonna jump in, guys. Sorry about that. Tammy, I brought you back because it didn't show on my thing, but I'm gonna get to you. On my side, it wasn't showing that you were inside. Let me go to Litabo. I'm gonna just go down or up the queue. I think you guys see it as up. Litabo, tell me, how do you feel about this game in the first half?
Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Look, there's nothing here. It's it's a dead rubber game, and that's all it is. We are even speaking about other things. You speak about coaches, and we're not speaking about the game, and that in itself says a lot.
Yeah.
I've looked at Pirates this season, and I've seen them play, and every time I feel as though they play a different way every single game. They have, and I've spoken about this thing of style of play, and style of play is very important for a team like Pirates,
Yeah.
and I'll say that why, because it underlines your recruitment, it underlines what people come to watch, and also it underlines the kind of people you employ behind the scenes, technical members, and it showed in their recruitment this season. It was terrible. You look at the guy they recruited from, I think was Pedro.
Oh, yeah. Gilberto.
Disastrous, doesn't suit the team, doesn't suit the style of play of the team. And I think Ribeiro's been there for 3 years, and Riviero has been there for 3 years and failed to implement a style of play. And you wonder, where does the next coach go from there? Does he start a whole new thing or what? Because it's basically a slate, I think that's the biggest problem at Orlando Pirates, having not developed a clear identity of how do we play, and then that will define who we recruit, and that's, I think, another problem at Kaizer Chiefs as well. And that's why you don't see them recruiting good players. They just find a player in form and then they sign a player in form.
Yeah, no. Let me get everybody in, then I'll come back. Bongs, how do you feel about the first half? Bongs, Champ?
Champ, I'll have to say this, ne?
Yeah.
During summer, when grass grows, ne? When you are sitting there watching grass grow, this is how this game feels. It's like you are sitting there just watching grass grow peacefully. Nothing is happening. We tend to even have another topic inside, because now Pirates are just playing because they are Pirates. Because they know that once upon a time, they were saying they were going to win the league, the Nedbank, they were going to win the Champions League. And today, they just have to honor this game. It's done in that state.
Yeah.
If they had powers to say, no, let's not play this game, they couldn't play this game. But Supersport really needs to play this game because they really need these points. But unlike for Supersport, Leona, it's getting sold.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling sorry for them.
I'm gonna come back for British. Yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen today. PhD, tell me.
My brother OT or Sharp.
Ah man, Gisharp, man, Gichevetse Polo,
Hello.
man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Ish. I only watched the first 5 minutes. Am I sound?
I can hear you.
I only watched the first 5 minutes of the previous match against TS Galaxy.
Yeah.
I must say I was very disappointed from a Pirates point of view, considering the fact that generally, based on my proximity with the team and Mandla, Coach Mandla and everyone at Orlando Pirates, I'm an Orlando Pirates fan. Obviously, I'll definitely want to support them anyhow, any day, no matter what the circumstances would be. But I must admit, the first 5 minutes, I was disappointed. The second 5 minutes, disappointed. 15 minutes, disappointed. Until the end of 45 minutes. To be honest, it was very disappointing display of football. I even wondered what was Coach Mandla doing. But obviously, I won't say that because I'm a Pirates fan. I grew up biased. But I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I felt I did. Beside the fact that we could have won, even if we had won, honestly, from a football's point of view, I was not going to be happy. Even if we had won by 2-0 or so,
Yeah.
I would just be happy that we know how to win, even under the circumstances of not playing well. But that was a very boring football. Even now, having watched the first 5 minutes or so, I honestly, my brother, I'm not watching that game, by the way. Not to say it's not important. It's very important, that game, because that game would mean that Orlando Pirates would break a record of winning 19 games ever in the history of PSL. So the kind of football that is played there is very disappointing, and it's very important because it's important for Coach Mandla to prove himself, to say, I've been learning from this guy. I've been learning from my being assistant.
Yeah.
I must say I'm very disappointed, my brother, and I wouldn't want to lie about that. One thing people say, or maybe they miss it. Okay.
No. Just give me a last sentence there.
Yeah, one thing people think, they think that we don't see things when they happen at Orlando Pirates. We see them. And it's just that, yes, we may not be as hard or as harsh. There will be those things that we will try and protect, but they'll be the obvious. And not to say that we protect from a point of not understanding.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, I won't lie and say Pirates are playing well. I don't know whether they will win or not, even if they win. But honestly, the first game has proven to us that we need a coach.
What time over a champion? Let me bring in Malume Kutso.
Mr. Utsi unjani?
Ah, ke itjhebeletse bolo man. On a Tuesday.
Hey, Mr. Utsi Saturday ne ke refa Hollywood Beds. Yo, similar game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yazi misifika lapha. Ngibheka ama-opponent ayi-3 ngithi kushota bafiki labantu. Zafika zaphelela le out ngathi libahlangu bo. Bafika badlala yona lento le. Angithi league seyiphelile. Bafika badlala yona lento, but we had to honor the fixture, not as a referee. We had to blow.
Yeah.
But what's disappointing in this case, more than anything, the state of the league. This is where we see it. In a sense of Uti, Pirates is not playing for anything. It's understandable for them to drop a gear. Supersport, guys. You are playing to market yourself as players. You are playing to at least rescue your status. And this is what you deliver.
Yeah.
Pirates, like, how have we managed to shift a burden yokuchase Sundowns to Orlando Pirates? Like, it's like Orlando Pirates has to do the beautiful work, manage good football, manage kube yithi chaseayo. Everyone else nje iphasela nje ukhona nje. Beke winile TS Galaxy mshayela izandla ayikho into abayenzayo laba abanye. So samatha by2 nje kuphela la. Ubuza nobonga so favorite cheese maruthi Orlando Pirates have failed. Iphi club yakho wena successful eligini? Kanti ngidlala kweyiphi league mina? Thina inhliziyo zezibhlungu. Mina kade ngidlala kanje from day one. Nibhora abantu from day one kade ngidlala kanje. Nithi nabi is cooking. For the first time ngiyayifila lento eniyifila mina buka club yenu. Kwenzakalani Mr. Uthi?
Oscar Kenya.
No, but anyway, let me ask Mr. Oti. You asked a very important question about foreign coaches, European coaches, to be specific or precise rather. Do you think European or non-African players enjoy the same privileges when they visit the PSL?
Yes, but it's a shorter
Because
leash.
Enyingwenya has been out for some 2 to 3 months, but we have not questioned his credentials this season. Maybe ukukhuluma ngayo ngathi shaya 22 goals, ngathi shaya into zabombesumi.
Yeah.
Ngomobheka istats sayo, it's only 16 goals, 0 lapha ku-CAF, besides 2 penalties in the preliminary stages. So angazi, do they enjoy the same privileges? Because maybe ukhuluma ngayo le ngwenya le, yo. Ngathi umntana kabo Beckham no Zidane, cousin ka Ronaldo. But anyway, let me pass the mic.
We're going to continue talking in the second half, I know. Let me go to Matara. Matara, second half changes. Score prediction.
Hey, I see Supersport scoring a goal. I think they have the better chances. Usaile, he missed a clean header alone on the box. I think Supersport has more box entries than the Pirates. So I think the score will be 1-0. Supersport is a goal goes. I don't see anything changing from a Pirate side unless Ncekazi is going to introduce Ntwana zonke akhuphe lamaxhego adinweyo osibisi noDlamini make kuleqwe kudlalwe toe-to-toe kuleqwe iSupersport because nyani ke usiombatha they seem like are not playing for anything. It's understandable for players, but for a coach it's a different side. It's a different story because you're putting up your CV that I'm here, I can do the job, but this is what the performance that you are putting out. What message are you sending with management? But I must hire you. The season is too long to watch this. This disgrace from Pirates. Maybe are the players are sabotaging him. We don't know because you can't force the players.
To be fair, it's only been 2 weeks, guys.
But you've been there for 3 seasons, OT. What is it? Maybe he speak a good Spanish. We don't know. Maybe he's been learning a Spanish more than a football. Because the coach. Because the coach, we know, didn't bring his wife. Maybe we are spending more time together as assistant and off the field. We don't know. Maybe learned a big Spanish words.
Montana, you guys are unfair. You guys are so unfair. What about the context? These players have just lost their coach. Pirates, Supersport miss. They've just lost their coach. They've just lost the Champions League. So much that's happening. Guys. And then you guys are saying Manja
OT as Amakos, I think as Kaizer Chiefs fans and the management, we must never make a mistake. We must bring Napi's wife now before it's too late. We don't want a guy to say, I miss my wife, and then he goes to Abo Melwane Betu.
Mara for time, Letabo. They're going to change his prediction.
Yeah, OT, I think, supporters are being disingenuous to Mandla. I think it's unfair to judge him on these games. I think these players are on holiday. OT, their minds are on holiday. They're thinking about their trips to Dubai and Mauritius. They're planning trips, these guys. The season is done. I'm sure they're having drinks on the weekend and they're having fun. But OT, I think Pirates will win 1-0 here. I don't think Supersport will score. They've been missing chances. Mabu had a chance in the first half, missed. And I'm a quality Supersport, I think a 1-0 victory for Pirates.
Okay.
And Mantla will get over the line today.
Okay. Bongs, change his prediction.
OT, before Kikanamo, Kiwata fella or Jetta Buti Kuto for number 1, leave Kaizer Chiefs alone. Number 2, leave Kaizer Chiefs alone. Number 3, we are not Orlando Pirates who sit number 2 all season trying to challenge Sundowns and win nothing in the end. Kopa Oto Rona, please, leave us alone. Whether we are cooking or not,
Please count up to number 9. Thank you.
Thank you. We can stay at number 9, number 10, 11, we are not Orlando Pirates who are struggling here. And I only see Orlando Pirates playing a draw here. And if they score a table like Mudimu, score the Pirates.
Okay. Tell me, how do you revive this second half, man?
Hey, OT, I'm not even watching that game and I don't miss that game. I don't regret not watching it. And I'm not watching it. But let me talk about just the season, maybe, if I may. I think Orlando Pirates has done very well, far better than, in fact, any team. Being number 2, Orlando Pirates is the only team to go to 2 finals this season. Orlando Pirates is the only team, or the first team to win the MTN 8.
Yeah.
And we've competed very well against the much spending or the billionaires club with just simple players. And I know it might not sit well because the truth happens to be he is an enemy of the majority, but that's the truth. And
Yeah.
I always say FIFA financial fair play should come to the party. I heard some people who are less informed saying there are teams that don't make money. OT in every team, all the 16 teams, they are given money every month.
Yeah.
They are given everyone is given money to run a team, and if you can manage your money well, I'm not talking about sponsors now.
Yeah.
And if you manage your money well, you'll definitely run that team. It has been evaluated well by good accountants. It's a PSL. And all these teams have got sponsors, by the way, not one sponsors. They've got all sponsors, all of them. The difference may be the amount of money that was poured. Even a Richards Bay, that is one of the lowest teams, have got a sponsor that gave them 100 million, and they would share just over 30 million or 33 point something million. I'm just talking about a single sponsor. So there is money in football, but there's money enough for us to can qualify FIFA financial fair play. Because when some other teams are playing other teams, it's like a team from Europe is playing a team from deep in Africa where there are less advantages because
Yeah.
of the amount of money used. And some other people would say, yeah, when Chiefs and Pirates was dominating, this is not about Chiefs, Pirates, or Sundowns. It's about the competitiveness of football. We need to watch football and get the excitement and get to
Tabi,
think, oh, maybe this one can be.
can I push back, Kanyane? If financial fair play was to come in, wouldn't Sundowns be one of the teams that are better placed to get more sponsors and more money from sponsors than a Richards Bay? Because of maybe they can still use the Champions League cards, they can still use all of the different cards they have. So wouldn't it still be an advantage to them? And maybe really only Chiefs and Pirates could stand up to them in that sense. And maybe if Rupert convinced some of his friends to sponsor Kamo, there's only a handful of teams that could stand up to those guys. Well, not even.
No, Rupert, by the way, thank you for mentioning Rupert. Rupert is running his team professionally, so even far better than maybe one of the most well-run professional team in PSL. Rupert is running business. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? He's running business.
No, I get you.
That's not charity.
I'm saying if it's financial fair play, Rupert could probably convince some corporates to sponsor Stellenbosch. And maybe Sundowns could probably do the same through Motsepe or through the fact that they're one of the bigger teams on the African continent for exposure and things like that. They could probably get way more money than Richards Bay can commercially without anything.
Yes, but I hear you saying, and it's a very good thing. But what I'm trying to say is all teams would benefit and it would be healthy for our league. And again, OT, remember, even when we evaluate this thing, you cannot have 57 fans and still have bigger sponsors. Remember, sponsors have to sponsor you according also. It needs to make sense. You cannot now, for example, maybe you are a clothing, you are Adidas or you are Puma, and you want to do a certain proper stuff, because at the end of the day, Sundowns jerseys will never sell. And I'm being honest, whether Motsepe calls his friends, it will never sell because they are 57. They won't have numbers, so they will never have make more money. That is just common sense if you understand. Whether if you are
Well,
VW and
but if I
so you
want
cannot.
exposure, my money that I'm giving them goes further on the continent than anywhere else. So if I want to expand somewhere, I know that at the very least Sundowns jersey will be somewhere, let's say, and people will
No, it
see me.
doesn't make sense. A jersey of Mamelodi Sundowns, no matter how much Motsepe can be, because Motsepe does not own Puma, by the way. At the end of the day, it has to go according to the numbers and the standard of the team. It doesn't make sense that when it doesn't mean that just because you've got friends, they will just come and pop money. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
It
they
doesn't work
will.
that way. No, I understand. Even Rupert, he has friends, but I'm saying it should vary. Like when Vodafone, when Vodacom, by the way, when that deal was made of Pirates and Chiefs, it was Vodafone. Because of the numbers of both Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, it then made sense.
Well, you're
But
saying
excuse
too
me for
many
that,
things now.
but it makes
They're calling you to tell you, hey.
no. Yeah, no. But what I'm trying to say is it has to make sense. You cannot be 57 and have more sponsors than a team that has many supporters that plays in a derby. Never.
Yeah.
No matter how much you market. That's why, let me tell you, OT. That's why even now, Sundowns is going to play a final of the CAF Champions League. Their ticket would be 20 rand.
Yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs will be playing. They are not even in the top 8. Their ticket will be more than 50 rand.
Okay, so then, I just one last thing, just for time, I want to ask you. So I am looking at it from the point of view of there's a reason why Rama is on the front of Stellenbosch's jersey. There's a reason why Greenrod is bankrolling Amazulu, and a lot of that is down to the relationships and getting rid of that corporate social what money. So I think for me, I think financial fair play would hurt way more teams than it would help. It would hurt way more teams than it would help them with Sundowns. And I think Sundowns would still be able to conjure up a lot more commercial money than any other team in the league. And the other teams would die because a lot of their funding comes from their owners. So if you cut the owners out, a lot of them would struggle very badly if you only go commercial. And maybe Sundowns through Rock Nation, what, it might not be necessarily for fans, but a lot of the brands are just looking for that exposure. And Sundowns is one of the teams that can give you a ton of exposure. And maybe when you go back to your marketing people or your company, you can point to the fact that this thing has been here and this thing has been there, which is usually what they do and why they love Chiefs so much. So I think commercially, financial fair play would screw a lot of teams over. I think Sundowns, even if they were to go down, Sundowns would probably survive far better than 80% of the league as it stands right now.
They wouldn't survive. Let me tell you, this is the wrong perception that people have. And you're right. Let me tell you how it would work. No matter how much connection your Rupert would have, otherwise in terms of business or Patrice Motsepe, no matter how much connected he would be, he will never he will never be more relevant than Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates in terms of getting more sponsors. They will never, because sponsors goes according to. Remember, even on a game when you have to watch a derby, a derby always gets sold out. Like, for example, let me give you a practical example. The very same final that was played 2 weeks ago between Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, it made a lot of money for the city of Durban and the province as a whole. No matter how much Motsepe would be or Rupert would be, they can never get more sponsors. It's like, even if you are my friend, OT, for you, if for example you are a CEO of Cement, for you to come and give me that deal, it has to make business sense. So it would never make business sense that Mamelodi Sundowns would get better sponsors than Pirates while they don't have supporters. It doesn't.
I hear you. I hear you. But what I'm saying is, the reason why I used Stellenbosch and I used Amazulu is because the relationship with the owner and what they do elsewhere. I shouldn't be saying these things out loud. But those relationships play into this. So a lot of the sponsors that we have are not sponsors because they're sponsoring teams out of the goodness of their heart or for return. You know what? No, let me not. Hey, let me not do this. Tell me you're gonna get me
And
into
you're
trouble.
right. You're right. I like
You're
the way
gonna,
you're
you're
going.
gonna get me into trouble. I
Then
don't
you're
wanna get
right.
into trouble.
You're right. Let me tell you. You hold it. I will say it. Hold it. I will say it. You don't have to say
I don't
it.
wanna. I don't wanna
Let me
say
tell
it.
you. You're right. Me, I will say it. Me, I will say it for on myself because me already I'm hated. You must remain loved. What I'm trying to say is, even if you've got friends who've got power and everything, that money, it would show when we have to check why would OT be sponsored with 1 billion while they are 15. Therefore, it means his friends are there. So it doesn't make sense for
But
it
that's
to
not
be
what they
sponsored
check
that
for.
way.
But that's not what they check for
No,
financial
I'm
fair
saying,
play. That's new. That's PSR, and I don't think we would ever do PSR. I don't think we'd ever do PSR.
okay, let me give you an example. Again,
Yeah.
I will say, you remember when
Oh,
ne?
okay. Are you still there? I think let's do the. I'm gonna make it a topic because we've got a long off season. I'm gonna make it a proper topic, and I'll invite you back, Tammy. But can you just give me that last sentence there so
People
I can
said
bring
they
in
will be
Malume
given
Kutso?
1 billion.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Yes.
no. Just give me that
What
last
I wanted
sentence.
to
Then,
say
yeah.
is when Sundowns was in, yeah, when they were invited to go play the FIFA Club World Cup, I personally, myself alone, I said, that billion is the money to spend. And FIFA, when they went to FIFA said, no, we can't give you the same amount as Real Madrid. We will give you at least 140 because they evaluate, they check these things. They said, because you are Sundowns, and the money, remember that money is the money to spend according to how you spend as a South African team. So it's not just because you are a friend of FIFA president, therefore you will get the same as Barcelona. No. And I said it before, and it happened. And people said, this one, he hates us. I said, no, they will never give you 1 billion. It will never happen. It doesn't make sense. How much is Mamelodi Sundowns, the value of Mamelodi Sundowns, if you're going to give them 1 billion?
Okay.
So they
No,
evaluate, they check those things.
I want to go back, but for time. I want to bring in Malume Kutso. Malume Kutso,
Into
60th
trouble.
minute. I don't know what you want to jump into. I think today is an
I'm
open
not-
day because I met you.
No, it's a kill my mates, OT. Since song Arabic katawaya the foreign players or non-African players.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let me go into another one. And this one is at everyone. Like in terms of PSL teams and management in SA football.
Okay. Yeah, guys, please mute and you come in.
Thank you, OT. Do you not think we missed the boat or we misused or failed to use the World Cup to our advantage?
100%.
Pre and post. Like, stadiums are empty. Let's forget about abantu abangaphandle for now as an attraction from outside. How is it that after an event elingana ne World Cup, we're unable to grab the attention of Abo Pinar, Abo Van Veek, Van der Merwe,
Okay.
Abo Low, Lapa, Emakishini, and North that EPSL gaming adlala. But more lapha emabha ase-North lapha abo-bench warmers kudlala i-repeat rugby. How did we miss it that bad, Mr. OT?
I
And
can give
to
you
your
an
point,
idea.
if you look at the screen rollout odlalayo ngasemuva lezo, Pirates yene sponsor bheka Marumo no sponsor.
Yeah.
Kuzovela ikana king enehlelele Pirates CS Galaxy no shirt sponsor. Lenye Golden Arrows can only 10 paid but no brand sponsor. Like, how did we fail so badly? Like, totally 10%. We fail so badly, Mr. OT, to commercialize the PSL. And when I grew up, the the PSL, the best league in Africa. But as now game la skipping when the World Cup was here. And this is not even before, like, which after World Cup they are done with us. Even in the build-up to the World Cup, teams were struggling. The stands were not full. I look at the MLS right now, pulling in Abu Messi, pulling in Abu Suarez. Yes, they've got American money. But when you listen to the reasoning Abu Messi, why Afunbalapa, it's for the World Cup. He's like, the World Cup must find me here. Abu Saudi, they pulling in players using the World Cup, that the World Cup is coming. Let's promote our league using these players. How did we fail so badly? But you said you could give me an idea.
Okay, it's two things. Number one, FIFA tried very hard to separate the World Cup from local football. So, abafana merve labo, bashebeli PSL, bashebela the overseas guys. So when those guys came, I remember saying that if you looked at the crowd, most of that crowd was not the people who watch football. Fandiwan here. Number two, I think Safa screwed us so badly because what MLS and those guys do differently to what we do, similar to all of the other guys, is, for example, this. Let's look at the stadiums. You don't build FNP. You go and build Tema Stadium, and you say Tema Stadium is a World Cup venue, and then you start bringing people there. But what Safa screwed us with was that they started taking things all over the place away, and they made it about. Hey, guys, what's happening? They made it about. And oh wait. Oh, there we go. They made it about. They made it about international football, not about how this can help our football. So I feel like that's where we didn't jump. Look at where Messi plays. That stadium is not the best stadium, but they put it in a certain place so that when the money flows at Messi, that immediate area, they're going to build the stadium immediately there. And now they've got a built-in community, right? I'm going to use Orlando Stadium as an example. I'm going to use Loftus as an example. Loftus benefited from the football money for rugby, and they got a better stadium refurbished for their own purposes. We separated it, and us, we love doing that type of stuff. But in any case, I don't know. Just for time, I'm going to jump just here. I'm going to stop just here. It wasn't ours. It wasn't for our football, basically.
Yeah, I did go to those games. It's like, it's not even only got those games, the OT. Just say Sundowns has just invited Barcelona over here, or Manchester is here for the Vodacom Cup. And look at the diversity in the stands. Like, how do you fail so badly to maintain that over just 2 months, Mr. OT? Those people can watch Sundowns today, and tomorrow they're gone. They're watching Blue Bulls. They don't even know who the Sundowns captain is. So for the avenues that we're making, because I look at the PSL and I'm like, this thing is not as commercial. Yes, Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs have the most fans, but there are other streams of fans that are untapped, that if these teams that are trying to break ground, they can go to those guys. Those guys don't have teams, Mr. OT. How are you failing so badly with all the revenue that you supposedly have, the sponsorship that you supposedly have?
They don't cater to us, Malume Kuto. You start with your core audience. Once your core audience is bought in, then you get everybody else. Manchester United probably doesn't care a damn. Oh, okay, maybe now, but back then they didn't care a damn about what's happening elsewhere in the world. As long as we know that our core audience is fine, then we commercialize that core audience, we spread that core audience's word, and now everybody else jumps on. Rona, we want Pete to come watch Chiefs for Nje. Like, Pete over to TV Chiefs, another Chiefs. How light a game at Chiefs? Open a stadium silly empty. You know what I mean? You get me? But then when we watch the Springboks, look at the Springboks. Fine, they win and do all of that stuff, but they cater to their crowd. Their crowd is 201. And once they've got their crowd, wena malume Khutso awudlala di-Springboks uyikutlwa FOMO. Uyikutlwa FOMO ra Springboks. You get what I mean? So we don't cater for us.
All right, now let me not hog the mic, Mr. Oti. But ngicela ubabuze laba abanye balendaba yalokhu.
No, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm writing all these down, guys. We're going to off season. We're going to have a lot of time to speak about things. Let me bring in Masi.
Hi, Oti. How are you?
Good, thanks to you, Masi.
I am also doing well. I just wanted to answer what Malume Khutso was talking about also. A lot of our teams also don't have a brand identity.
Yes.
Like you're saying, your Manchester United, your Manchester City, where are they? They're in Manchester. Something that we also spoke about in the Hollywood Bets, that people do not know who is playing. If they see Thunderbirds, they don't know who you are in Butterworth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you another example. In Davidson, we had Luruma United. No one knew. We were like, is it Luruma Lions? No one knew about the team. No one knew when they were playing. I live near Davidson, but I did not even know that this NFD team is from around.
Yeah.
A simple thing as Davidson United would have told us something. I would have seen it go NFD and be like, oh, this is closer to me.
Yeah.
Another thing is, it's even something that we do with political parties. We have a lot of fractions, a lot of clubs that do not, it's like we can't work together. I disagree with you. I start my own club.
Yeah.
So if we have all these smaller clubs, but we could have one club that is united, you see how Abu Barcelona did it. Barcelona is one club. When they started a basketball team, they didn't say, okay, this is a different club. They said Barcelona Basketball.
And we'll leverage off of Barcelona.
Exactly, and we'll leverage off of Barcelona. Barcelona already has the fans. They said volleyball. That's what Egypt. If you are watching the African games, Egypt dominated the African games, and I can tell you, it's Zamalek and Ahly.
Yeah.
They have everything from volleyball to, everything is just under those brands. They don't start new brands. They just come in and they're like, guys, let's consolidate. So it's something that in South Africa we can't work together. Someone even said in basketball, they were like, they also trying to attract more fans. And they were like, maybe if Sundowns and Pirates and Chiefs came to the fort and said, maybe we having a basketball team.
Yeah.
That would help, because Chiefs and Pirates already have the fans. You could have a Soweto derby for basketball. But we don't think like that. Everyone wants to start their own thing, their own fraction. And then we forget that when you go to a sponsor now, you have Soweto this, but there's a Soweto derby, but no one really understands what's happening. So maybe if we can work on that, have everything under. Okay, if we are saying Mamelodi, you have Mamelodi Sundowns. I think you also have like a Mamelodi Stars. If we're getting a basketball team from Mamelodi, it either must be under Mamelodi Sundowns or Mamelodi Stars. Don't come now and introduce a different thing. That will help even with visibility. Even if when you're buying a shirt at Barcelona, even the basketball team, it wears the same colors. You see? So now we're talking about even people who are now interested in Barcelona, you will be seeing in maybe basketball, you'll be seeing them in Sundowns colors or in Pirates colors, just maybe different shirt design and stuff. But the brand is getting stronger by that. You go to Africa, that's what they are doing in Egypt.
So
Another
I like the point you're making, because it also goes back to our teams, in Safa and all those people doing enough work, outreach, promotions, marketing, things like that. Like, I asked earlier, why am I going to a stadium? What am I going to go see? Who do I know that I'm going to go watch and be fun? Is there something else that's bringing me to the stadium? And then Bola maybe. Like, are they doing enough of those things on top?
They are not. I think you once mentioned that even transportation, sometimes to these stadiums, it's an issue, So, but one thing I wanted to say is that you have Orlando Pirates is a walkable stadium. When I went to Orlando, I was so surprised. There's people that live there. They have houses around. If Pirates wants to attract fans, they need to start with people who live around there, because those people don't even need to pay transport. They can just walk to the stadium. Those young kids, the people who already live around. I commented that there seems to be like a disconnect between Atteridgeville people and Sundowns. It's like Sundowns is not their team. Even when you go to Lucas Marip, it's not their team. So I see Sundowns as having these fan activations, but I'm not seeing fan activations in Atteridgeville. The people that can walk to Lucas Marip. You see? So that's why I'm saying maybe there's a disconnect in that. Let's start with local fans.
I'm gonna, guys. Maybe I'm writing all this down because I'm gonna make these topics. We've had them, but I'm gonna make these topics proper. We're gonna dedicate episodes to it. Just as an update, 73 minutes in, Pirates has scored. They are 1-0 up versus Supersport United. Sinje.
Alala, I'm a Buccaneer for life.
Hey.
Finally, Bakora, finally. Hey, Mr. Oti, before I say anything, hey, this is the first time ever. While a game is playing, there are topics being introduced. Imagine a game is playing. Pirates fans come up with topics, Mr. Oti, while the game is playing. Hey, is this what happens when you have not won a cup in months? So what's going to happen? It's only been months, guys. Is Pirates so irrelevant in months that its kids will rather have You never said you never said time here when Mukutso and they were talking about. Okay, I want to differentiate. I like what Mukutso asked, jokes aside. But I think it's unfair, Mr. Oti, to compare rugby with soccer.
Yeah.
In particular, South African rugby and how it's structured. Rugby as a structure.
Yeah.
I'll make an example. How many times do you see international rugby players in South African soil? You don't wait until national team. And when they go to national team duties, where you see whether your Six Nations or your Tri Nations or your New Zealand players, the top cream players of the world of rugby on South African soil, you don't have to wait for a tournament, for a series, for us to see them.
Yeah,
we see them at local rugby, and we see them at club rugby. Vis-a-vis in South African, so rugby is easy marketable because in rugby you get to see the best of the best in South African soil, and therefore so the national team gets to wrestle with players that they've been playing against, not only in national colors but also in club colors as well. And I think it's unfair then with soccer, where in soccer all you are playing against the majority of the time in South African soil, it is with South African players. What makes it even worse is that besides the top three South African big teams, the rest of the South African soccer teams don't have stars. Like, who's the star at Chippa? A star, that a person that where Chippa is situated, he's the crowd puller. You know, in Chippa United, who's the crowd puller? Who's the player that Eastern Cape soccer fans fussy about? You know, go crazy about. When he enters the field, they go ballistic. You get what I mean? From the last one up until your number 6, number 7, those teams don't have local stars. You know, what makes crowds go and makes soccer marketable, it is crowd pulling. Be it at local level in your area, be it at school. The reason why we go watch soccer, it is because there is a George Mokwena here at school. We are going to see what he's going to do vis-a-vis the other school with their stars. We don't get that at our club level. I'll make an example.
Can I push back quickly before example? on two fronts. Number one, Marasinje, Curry Cup was the backbone of South African rugby. There was a time where South African rugby, they didn't even care about Super 14 well, up until about 2007. So would you say would you say that helps? But also the fact that the Bulls are visible all through Pretoria, all through Limpopo. I think it is at high school level, at primary level, everywhere. They make sure that group or that group of fans are taken care of. Then they create their stars around those guys. So, for example, I remember when I was still Kotax, long time ago. Both Victor Midfield were part of the community. Like I could walk out and he's doing something. They show up at tax games. They show up at office, what. Similar to how, I remember when my dad tells me stories about Chiefs and them, he'd tell me like teenage lads that get out, you would see them, they'd be around with us. They were part of the community. They'd create a community around that. Would you say that we might be missing some of those things too, and for various reasons? Would you say that that's part of? Yeah.
But you must also understand, when you talk about Curry Cup, you're talking about provincial.
Yes. I'm saying that's the background. Yes. I know about UFC and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and provincial colors were colors of honor. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Not only from Craven Week up until your Curry Cup. It has always been a provincial colors have always been honor up until your under 13s and your under 9s, leading to your Craven Week. So Curry Cup became the pinnacle of what is established and the excitement built by your Craven Weeks and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis in soccer, where it is Chippa United, it is not honor in the province of Eastern Cape.
Exactly.
Why? Because in Chippa United, there are players from Chippa United is not the pot of the best players in the Eastern Cape. Vis-a-vis your Border Bulldogs, your wherever, your Stormers, your Western Cape province, is that the players that are playing in the Western Cape province, in the Western Cape rugby team, is that these are the best players you've collected from the Western Cape that are known in the Western Cape. Therefore, these are our pride and joy. Vis-a-vis in soccer, it doesn't go that way. And it's difficult, therefore, Mr. OT, to go and market a team in the Eastern Cape that does not represent the best of the best in the Eastern Cape.
But then wouldn't it serve cheaper? Because I like what you said about the provincial, but I think the genius of what rugby did was that they tied provincial to club teams. So Chippa should have the advantage of being the only team in the Eastern Cape, and then they go, if you get provincial colors, if you're in a tournament, if you're in a whatever, it's a cheaper tournament. Like when you get certain provincial colors in rugby.
Yeah. All right. I hear you.
You're wearing a Bulls thing. You get what I mean? Like you're tied to the brand early.
Yeah, I hear you, Mr. Uti. But I'll make an example. Yeah. Who is the Jessica Motaung of Chippa United?
There we go. All of these things you're saying. Thank you.
Yeah. How many times? How many times have we seen Jessica Motaung on television, on a radio show, podcast, a radio show, and people think that Chiefs it's not magic. That Chiefs is a market. It is a market gold mine. It is because you've got people that are ensuring that they make sure that this team, wherever you go, who markets Chippa United? How many times do you even hear Chippa United in the local radio shows here in the Eastern Cape, be it True FM, be it whatever, Radio True, 5 FM, whatever, that is in the East Link FM, that is in the, you don't hear them. And then now you want us to go. And the only time I hear Chippa United, even in East London, it is when they come into play and their tickets are 100 rand.
Yes, and it's only 3 games.
And it's only 3 games. You get what I'm trying to say? The rest of the time, you never hear them. You never hear them promoting the club or be even visible in community building, in community issues. Vis-a-vis. And then now you are surprised at why the stadiums are not full. Who's going to go there when you're not marketing the team? And then you wonder, why is it only Chiefs that you get to see 90,000? I mean, since FNB, Mr. Oti, what's this? Buffalo City Stadium. It's not a big stadium to fill. It's not a big stadium to fill. But if Chippa United is not playing Sundowns, is not playing Pirates, is not playing Chiefs, you are not going to. He's not going to fill Buffalo City Stadium with Amazulu and Aros and the rest of the team and Makesi. No one goes to those stadiums. Not because people don't want to go, but no one is attracted to go there because Chippa United does not make it attractable to go and watch them play live. Vis-a-vis in rugby. Hey, rugby tickets, my man, it's 450 rand. And the tickets are sold out. You can't get a 350 ticket. You can't get a 400 ticket. Now the tickets that are available at 600. Now they're also going to get finished.
Yeah.
Because they are marketing this team. They are marketing the importance and the value of the team.
It doesn't even have to be valuable. Get what I'm trying to say? They're telling you what the value is.
Exactly, Mr. Oti. We should have a cheaper Tuesday here and wear our cheaper United t-shirts.
This is all I'm saying.
But anyway, I'm a Pakania, a Winile, and they are slow. Pirates fans, if you guys don't pull up your socks, you're going to end up like Sundowns and win the league and like, oh, what happened? Oh, what they want? Oh, okay, sure, fine. And now you're going to, and the next thing is that when you play the final, you're going to have Abo OT begging that, hey, let there be no team playing in the PSL because Sundowns is playing the final. Wow, hey, nothing should happen. They want to force us to have our eyes glued on them because they are irrelevant, Shem. Pirates, you guys can do better. Support your team. Make sure that you speak about it and make sure that you support it. Otherwise, Shem, you guys are going to suffer the same fate of becoming irrelevant champions. Guys, it's only been months since you lifted your trophy. Other than that, Sundowns, how's your Hubley? How's the Hubley coming?
Okay. Guys, 85th minute, Pirates is leading 1-0. Hey guys, we're honoring fixtures, so we're going to have chats about whatever it is. But I'm saving these topics because for those who don't know, the normal show is on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's not just reviews and watch-alongs. We actually speak about these things in depth. If you go onto my YouTube channel, we've got conversations that go back 3 years where we've been speaking about big and small things, stadium, technical directors, sponsorship. We've been speaking about these things. So please, if you like what you're hearing, follow, and then we'll be back when we have some of the quieter moments now in the off-season. We're going to have some of these bigger conversations because they are really, really, really interesting. And there's some great people that you hear from, and you get all types of insights from everybody. Let me go to Gavin. Gavin, welcome to the show. Gavin, you can unmute. Okay, let me go to Butlale.
Uthi kanjani uthi?
Hi man, ngimnandi man. It feels like we're watching a friendly.
Yeah, hey, no, it's I don't know, weird game to watch. But Uthi, I want to touch on brand identity and the sponsorship part and the commercialization of the clubs in the PSL. Ot, it's hard to build a brand if you don't know that if your club is going to exist within the next 5 years. Ot, then the structure of the league has to change. Ot, I mean, for a Supersport, no, that's a bad example because Supersport has been in the league for a long time. Ot, you Marmoush. Okay, I'm watching City game. One of the best goals I've watched. Let me leave that. Ot, if I'm a new club coming to the PSL today, how am I building a brand, Oti. If in 5 years I'm gonna struggle for money and I'm gonna be bought out by another club, Oti.
Yeah.
It's hard to build a brand if I'm questioning the existence of my club, Oti. And also, with the stadiums, let me talk about the stadiums. What is the incentive for PSL clubs to fill stadiums? Because they don't even own the stadiums, Oti. What is the incentive? If I'm not getting the money for the stadium that I'm filling, right? Why should I fill the stadium? It doesn't have. I mean, the only thing I can think about is obviously the motivation for the players on the pitch, but for the background of the club, it doesn't financially doesn't benefit them anyhow, because the stadium money goes to the municipality, because the stadium is owned by the municipality. I don't know, I might be wrong, but
Yeah, no,
I think,
they have a profit share. So most of the teams take the lion's share of gate takings because they've paid upfront. So
okay.
you pay to book the stadium, and then whatever profit you make, there is a tiny share between the stadium and the vendor that you use for the tickets, let's say, but you keep a majority of that money.
Okay, so I'm a tad bit wrong there, but it's fine. So, Oti, let me touch on social media as well. Oti, social media. I go sometimes when I'm bored, Oti, I go to Magezi's Instagram, I go to Marumo Galans. These, Oti, it's so bad, Oti. These, I am questioning if they even have social media managers, if they even have social media marketers, Oti.
Yeah.
I mean, the brand, Oti, there is no brand, there is no behind the scenes. It's just, okay, we are playing today, match day, and then the more, Oti. I mean, Oti, if a fan wants to see behind the scenes of the players, interviews of the players. I see the cutback with the cutback podcast, Golden Arrows. They're doing a very good job there.
Oh, up and through. Cut back Yampil.
Yes. Oti, I want to. Oh, cutback Yampilo.
Shout out to Mpilo.
Yeah, shout out Kaizer Cocination Fan TV. Oti, I want to see Magezi. I want to see a day in the life of Wonderboy Makubu. Oti, a day in the life of Edmo Chirambadare. Oti, I don't want to go to a social media page and see the most generic, most basic stuff. Oti, I mean also activations. I want to see in Seshego activations of Magezi. Oti, in Peter Maris. The brand, the brand is what uplifts the team. I mean, we have Cape Town Spurs. They are not even a professional club anymore. They are not even a professional club. And they have a better brand than Magezi. They're not even a professional club. They have a sponsor. They're not even a professional club. I mean, can we take? I mean, that is madness. That amateur club has more of a brand identity than professional clubs in the PSL. I mean, the structure of the PSL also is liable, because obviously the ownership rights should change. Teams should not just be coming and going out like that. Also, last thing.
Can I ask you before you move on? I want to ask you, where does the TV deal play into this? Because sometimes we think that these teams are doing incredible things overseas, and then you find out that in England, it's tough to watch Arsenal. It's tough to watch a game. It's expensive to watch a game. A lot of the time you're compelled to go to the stadium. It's a cheaper option. How does that play in? Also, that the teams know that every month there's a certain amount of money that is dropped in. Yeah, it's just transferred in because of the TV deal.
Well, I don't think I get the question. Like, well, in what?
So stadiums are full in England, and people think stadiums are full in England because it's all love and all of that stuff. But the truth is, one of the big reasons is that both Sky Sports, I forgot who it is now, I think it's BT Sports, they basically have blackouts where it's very hard to watch the games live. So in London, if I want to go watch the game, I have to go watch it. It's very hard for me to switch on the TV and actually watch it. It's actually expensive. They do like a pay-per-view type thing. They focus on selling the rights more overseas, and they make the rights locally very expensive. So people are forced to go. Similar to early PSL, SABC could only show 2 matches maybe, or 2 matches in a weekend. So if you wanted to go see Kaizer Chiefs, it's either you waited, or you listened to it on the radio, or you waited for Monday when Soccer Zone would show you highlights, which then forced me to go to the stadium. Do you think that has an effect?
No, definitely, because England is a footballing nation. England wants to watch football. I mean, if
but they can't. It's expensive. We have easier access to English Premiership football than they do.
Yes. But OT, I mean, it's a sacrifice that they have to make. You have to pay money to go and watch football. There's so many people in England who are football lovers, OT. They would spend that £60 to go and watch a Premier League game, OT. If they can't watch it on the TV, they would spend that money because it's a footballing nation, OT. I want to go back to the
go ahead,
to the this status thing, OT. How many you watched football 20 years back, OT?
Yeah, but
how many alas.
This man just called me old, Kastai.
No, OT, no. However many years back, OT, how many teams had an actual brand identity, OT? How many teams, again, going back to what Masi said, how many teams are called, the similar to about Davidson United and those teams, OT? Just off the top of your mind, you can remember some, right? Those teams that are named after cities or what, towns and what. Imagine we didn't allow those teams to get bought out and to get OT, don't take it personal, relax.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. How many if we didn't allow the owners or the people who bought that club to change the name and have the rights of the clubs and the stadiums owned somewhere else, right? And then the other buyers, the buyer of the club just comes in and changes the structure of the club, but the name is still the same. The stadium, the where the club is located is still the same. Don't you think that we'd have the PSL would be much more commercialized because these teams actually have a brand identity because they have communities within themselves, OT. That's the point that I wanted to make.
Is it about the name, or is it more about what you are? Like for example, I'll give you an example. Marumo Kalans. One time they were on one side of town, the other time they're on another side of town, the other time they're on another. Whereas you look at, I guess some of the teams, well, England is the bad example, but some of those teams just have a history because they've always been there. So if you're buying a team from Kotema, let's say, it's been Kotema, we know about it. Springs Home Sweepers, we know about it, right? Now they're in the league, maybe we can latch on to something there. How much is it that as well, that today Royal AM, Iko Bloemfontein, the next day Iko King, that other stadium, then they're moving to Herikwala the next day.
Yep.
You know?
The problem is that you don't keep your core fan base, OT. Your core fan base will always be in where you are situated, OT. Your core fan base can't be moving from city to city, OT. It's not possible. So stay in one place and have that core fan. I mean, look at Buffalo City, OT. We can see Buffalo City. Okay, we can say maybe they're not fitting it up, but I'm sure they are averaging more than, obviously, not including the top 3 teams. Buffalo City, I'd say also Amazulu. If I was to guess, Chipa and Amazulu are out of the top 3 are the ones that are averaging the most fans because they say they have the same base, or they stay in the same base. If you have Marumo Gallants going from Watwat to Watwat, who's gonna come? Who's gonna come to your stadium because you don't have a core fan base, OT. The league is a mockery, OT. The league is a mockery.
Well,
that's the point.
For time, I'm going to jump in. I like the point that Elisa said, Siko Kempton Park. I think Supersport is Randburg. That's where they train and the head offices are. And they play in Pitamukaba. Obviously, they say it's for financial reasons or whatever. But you see those type of things where you're like, Amarakai, I believe TS Galaxy, if I'm not mistaken, their offices, they're also here in Joburg. So some of the teams are sort of moonlighting as teams from elsewhere. I could be wrong about TS Galaxy, but I know there's a lot of them that have everything here. Yeah?
Ntho nkopo tsa Jomo Sone ena. Ne ka sa tsebe le hore Jomo entle ke home ground ya kae.
Yeah, Gobble Park, the go Freestata, then the next time, but I'm gonna come, let me go to Vusi.
Uthi kunjani?
Ah, mane, yes, it's really pre-season la.
Ithi ngibingelele nje ngibingelele everyone ngibingelele nale welding machine esilokhu siyibheke la i-TV sibosha amehlo. Uyakubhekelela abantu abaweldayo awuboni into eweldelayo awuyibheki i-welding le ayisibulela amehlo namhlanje. Uthi mina angeke ngikhulume ngendaba yelento le yamafeni i-team yami sorted ngamafeni whenever we lay our head it's our home anginandaba nabanye abanye bazozibonela mina ngifuna le yemali uthi lebe nilokhu nikhuluma le Sundowns nemali yazi uthi kunento esone asibheke i-Sundowns ukuthi iqale nini ukuthenga ama-player i-Sundowns iqale ngabombulelo umabizela ngithi they once had a star-studded team yes they spend i-Sundowns la.
Even before that, Kumbula, do you remember when Sundowns unveiled 15 players?
Yes. Dala bespenda labantu uthi dala beyikhipha imali bethenga and uthi mawubheka labantu laba dala bethenga but it's because of mina ngizohlala kwi-Chiefs. I-Chiefs beyine identity yayo ukuthi whenever we buy a player we get that player so that we can compete. But after we lost i-identity yethu as a Kaizer Chiefs, that's when we see ukuthi i-Sundowns inemali seyibhaya everyone. Why didn't we complain when ilento lena i-Chiefs lose identity? Mina nawe OT as Chiefs fans we know exactly ukuthi even today Steve Kompela I'm sorry to mention his name but ufike walahla identity ye-Chiefs because since then azange saba noTshepo Masilela up until today. Who is our left back today? From when Steve Kompela thathile lento lena i-Chiefs wavayisa uTshepo Masilela. We never had ilento lena irregular left back up until today. So i-point yami la othi ukuthi i-Sundowns inemali yes but i-Sundowns ingakunika imali uyi-Kaizer Chiefs. Will you buy the quality that is needed kwi-Kaizer Chiefs? Bangaka abantu abaye kwilento uthi kwi-I blew it benemali bengakwazi ukuyisebenzisa. I-Sundowns nayo is not like bavuke overnight but now we can buy players. No, they had to restructure nabo ukuthi bazosebenzisa le mali in the right way. They are using the money in the right way, buying the quality players that they are needed. Tina, as Kaizer Chiefs today, you can give us 100 million. Ask other fans, the Kaizer Chiefs, who do they want? Mouse nigga 100 million. They will tell you about a police, about they are on form.
And then Ubabuze, why?
No, those players are on form in their teams, And then when you bring them to Kaizer Chiefs, by a fade, abasabonagadi. That's where we get it wrong. That's where we point fingers with Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm telling you, Mamelodi Sundowns is not like now by a computer, yes, but is the person who is behind the project. OT. Let's get quality players, not just any player that is available on the market, not just any police who is on form with Pulukwane City. Uzosiza ngani kwi Mamelodi Sundowns. Right now they went for Jordaan Adams. Jordaan Adams, they went for him because of they looking at Umshish ukuthi Neman Umshish ngati is getting old, let's replace him. Tina, as Kaizer Chiefs fans, you'll give us that 200 billion and say go for the players. We'll go the players that are the well-known players. Apodisi now sizokutshela ngabo Mayela, sizokutshela will those players fit in our system? And then when we bring them and they fail, and then we blame the coach, and then we point fingers
it's not quality.
Mamelodi Sundowns. And then we go back and blame Mamelodi Sundowns for having money. It's not like Mamelodi Sundowns are dominating because they have money. They are dominating because they get the right resources to dominate the league. Because 2015, when we last won the league, that's when we lost our identity. We were competing with Mamelodi Sundowns. I mean,
can I ask you, Vusi, before you go too far on that point, I want to ask you, is it the case Yoguti also, I believe personally, I don't know if you agree, Kaizer Chiefs, ibone lento yenzwa Sundowns, and they abandoned what they do best to go and try and do that. Babono Upito, local coach, he was mid-table nyana, but he was on the rise. Bamtata, Bamfaga, Bamnigis Kati won the leagues. Then they thought they could do the same thing with Steve Kompela. Do you think that maybe that was also the problem, Yoguti? Sometimes you mustn't deny what you are. Tina said, Tina, I learned to see, or even now when you hear fans speaking, that's not what Chiefs used to play like. But anyway, how do you feel about that?
Okay, OT, mina now today, Steve Kompela is an assistant coach at Sundowns. Before sizokhuluma ngale ongitshela yona, if Miguel Cardoso tomorrow he resigned, iSundowns izomnika uSteve Kompela to coach that team. They will never, because they know what they are doing. Tina, we went to fetch Steve Kompela with Marisburg United and say, come and rescue us because Pitso is doing this with Sundowns. And it's not the management. It's the fans of Kaizer Chiefs that said, let's go and fetch Steve Kompela. He can take over and do what Pitso is doing. Meanwhile, he didn't know what to Pitso before assembling the team on the field. He assembled the backroom staff first. That's gonna work for him before he even start with the team on the field. So Tina, we want the overnight success, and then we tend to blame the poor Mamelodi Sundowns and Mali ekonuktenga the right players. If the power shift to Kaizer Chiefs and Chiefs in the Mali Sundowns are not man, Chiefs will never buy the right players because Tinama fans, we want the players that we want. Sundowns fans don't shout on the media and say we want that player. The staff, the backroom staff here, Sundowns, they identified the players that they need in their team so that they can continue whatever they do, whatever is their project. Their project is not just to win the league. Their project is to compete in Africa to this Club World Cup. So if not is now, we can go back to our identity and get, I will always say, get the left back. We don't have a left back since Tsepo Masilela left. We are talking about Abo Police, Aboban. Since Tsepo Masilela left, the Chiefs I gagaze have a regular left back. Azanga replaced Tsepo Masilela with the right left back. But we are blaming Sundowns with the money they have. No. You can have money. I blew it. So bona lapa ya sharp.
Thank you, Musti, for time. Welcome to the show. Are we good? You can unmute now. There we go.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, thanks to you, my brother.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you very much for the. Thank you very much. It's for the first time, and I was trying hard and hard and hard up until.
Welcome to the family. Don't worry. Welcome.
Otivan, you will pardon my English, but I will try. Nah?
You speak what you want. It's fine.
Let me clarify about the new Betway Cup. Some bubble hub and stuff and whatsoever. But let me say congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns, our team, for breaking the record after the record. It's they are in something else. If you will put like the viewers like Utana level PhD level mang, and then they will keep on crumbling from January up until from June to June next year, June after June next year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. It's incredible. It's incredible. And then and the other thing the teams arena in the PSL, they are struggling because of sponsorship. And then it also destroy our national team. not them in their pockets, but also it has a national team. For example, if SAFA or PSL, they can find a way like how they can assist many teams promoted to the PSL, and then even from there in the NFD, it will be much better. But we are much better in Africa, in terms of the league itself. We must appreciate that. The owners of these teams, and then those who supported them, they are doing incredible, because they keep our league running, even if they don't have a sponsor. With the stipend they get from the it keep them going. So
Mara king kar bata charity man. King kar bata charity bata or the sponsor man. Shouldn't they make this business?
They can learn from us at Mamelodi Sundowns. I saw someone was saying talking about the price that we got from Betway League, and then also comparing the amount of money that we spend on players. One thing that I don't understand is that you don't invest not only in the cup games, in the league stuff. You invest in the overall players, even if you can't able to bring the biggest sponsor in the team, but you can able to sell players with a good money. Let me give you an example. When we come from the AFCON, Otina, and then so many teams were interested on, for example, let me give you about the Mokwena. Mokwena was wanted in Europe, and then imagine if Sundowns got the price tag that they were looking for in that particular player, and then it's a benefit for the team. And then it motivates even the other current players who are playing in the so-called small team. But fan base doesn't win, doesn't build the team when you do have a fan base. For example, look at Chiefs everywhere. Even where I come from at Lipombo, if Chiefs can come and then play at Guyana, and then you'll find that the stadium is full against the same team that is in that area. Let me just give you an example. Remember, it used to be we had a Dynamos football club.
Oh, Dynamos,
And then Dynamos, yes, was using Kian Stadium. But when they are playing against Chiefs, they won't use that stadium because you can't carry the
number of fans.
Exactly. So the point I'm trying to make is that exactly, Oti. But what I would like to say is that our league is improving a lot. Let's appreciate that. And then if maybe the teams can bring that style that it used to back in the days, like we had a PRO of a certain team, so that PRO is the one that recruit a lot. Like you remember the Shakwane brothers, the Shakwane brothers. It was marvelous to watch them before you watch the game. So now we change, we fashionable this soccer, and then we But you know, you can't complain and then you can't change what you can't change OT. And then thank you very much, man.
No,
Thank you
my
for
brother.
today.
You must come back.
And then enjoy that. Kalebo OT, Kalebo.
Thank you, my brother. Let me bring in Bongs. We're just a little bit over, but since we're having some nice chats, I'm just gonna have the last person. I'll say something and I'm gonna close. Pirates 1-0 versus Supersport United. Bongs.
Yeah, bro, OT.
Or ring Bongs, what like 2010.
Yeah, ne ke batla go bua ka taba ena ya botikhutso ena ya gore no, we never took an opportunity ena ya 2010. All right, because the stadiums tsa rona ha di a tlala, right? And looking at why the stadiums tsa rona di sa tlala. Number one, would you go watch a Vuma for the player tse ding ball instead of catching the balls jwalo ka goalkeeper? Whereas re ka bona player tse tshwanang le bo Haaland a kgona ho scora batho ba 7 ba entse a wall at the back. Or would you go watch a Cheaper United?
Yeah.
Even a string of coaches instead of watching a simple bo PSG ba winner ba ntsha di team tse tsebang le the big teams in England. League ya rona OT ha e notisa tšhelete because batho ha ba ye di-stadiumong ka ntho tse nyane tse tshwanang le bovuma ba etsang di-silly mistakes. Ke mang a batlang ho ya stadiumong a lo shebella motho a etsa silly mistake? Like no. Botlhale ko nna sentse a rasitse ka mamushi. O ka tlolla ka Chibandare ho ntso na le a player like Mamushi.
Yeah.
No, ke ntho re tshwantseng re di shebe gore why di team tse ding le tsona di sokola ho kry defense di stadium. It's not all about Kaizer Chiefs having a brand and stuff. It's the type of football ya bona ba e bapalang. Ha attract batho ga ba te di stadium hore ba be le defense. Ra e bona Sundowns ya try ho attract the defense ka winner the cup, but it's still not working enough. They still need to do more to get themselves to where Kaizer Chiefs is. Kaizer Chiefs can lose for 100 years, 120 years. Defense di tlo dula di ba teng in every province, in every town, in every city of South Africa. Because ba market ba na le a TV show, ba rekisa bo Mazembe rekuwa skipper se rekuwang just for 2,500 se rekiswa in 2 days. Wena ha le Sundowns o hlula fela ko tlatsa a game ya Champions League o rekisa 20 rand. O jwetsa batho come in numbers batle mono ba bere yellow, and those people decide to wear the ANC t-shirts like I always say. Which is not nice for one individual. Sundowns it claim a big team. How can it call itself a big team? It's not supporto. It's one and their Kaizer Chiefs. Kaizer Chiefs cannot win trophies for 50 years. But lente ba support ba bua ka yona ba yetse lipina ka yona ba o jwetsa gore no ba se a winner no ba se a dlewa so fana bo wa utlwa bona. They know, no, they love Kaizer Chiefs for a reason. It's not because Ba winner today. What if tomorrow Ratu Sundowns lose everything? Will they still support Sundowns? Will they still go to the stadium and support it? They are not going to go and support Sundowns. They are going to forget about Sundowns and move on to the next best thing. Whereas Nama Chiefs, Harry Battle a loyal supporting base. Ba re bitsa go gona re rata ho dula mona ntse re jwa re rata ho re le jwalo. We love Kaizer Chiefs the way it is. Ha re batle o tshwana le motho fela a dulang a ntsa chincha like changing girlfriends over and over and over and over ntse re. No, if re rata ntho re ba loyal ho yona. It's not like we sign a contract. Ke loyalty, ke the love of the team we have. Not just because ba winner today and tomorrow ga ba leba. So this thing ya re stadium re bone di team di sa tlatse stadium ha nthabise le nna mare le di player tse bapala mo le tsona di tshwantse di bapale role hore re tlatse stadium. O ka se ba tlo shebella e Chipandare atla once in a blue moon a ba tlo score a goal.
Yeah.
Re be re bona Rivero a dlala once in a blue moon, a dlala 4 or 5 games, a dlala Smarty Sebereke player of the season. Why a sa bapale jwalo? A bapale jwalo, like Europeans ba dula ba bapala jwalo. Each and every game o tshwantse a perform, not just a setting games OT.
Okay. Okay, Kukuba, if Sundowns keeps winning like this, wouldn't you say, let's say in the next 20 years, there might be new Sundowns fans, like Banabana that have only seen Sundowns win. Some of them, they're 8 years old, but they Sundowns win a league every year. Maybe Sundowns win a star. Do you think that 10 years from now, Batuba will still go to Chiefs?
Well, wabona no Chiefs inkile how many years who win just one trophy. And what happened when they win one trophy? Universities, colleges, taverns, the strata kaofela batho ka ba thaka dikipa tsa Chiefs. Sundowns e qeta win hardly, no, not hardly. What happened? Nobody even cared about Sundowns winning. All they cared about is the fact that the trophy looked like a hardly. Now, defense I would say but defense but for how long? Because if Sundowns start losing, they are going to go back to their respective teams. Unless they look at the new fans, they kalang Twitter football.
For time, I'm gonna jump in for time. Guys, I'm gonna close. I just have to play this sound, guy one. Just guy one.
Batsuba nngwe tjena ya plastiki ya metsi tjena ke ba ibitsa eng ba re ke lam ke bubbly king ba ke ngwane swa mpolella a re ke bubbly habi ore ba etsa ka mo wena mo ha ke tsebe nna ke mo kopantshang sa itsebe I bitsa ke habi man yona mo mamedi a ratehang batho ba ya ikopa bana ba ikopa ka jeno ba phela ka yona ntse sa itseng rona ba re shebile re tutsi na ke tsebo rona ho etsaetseng Afrika Borwa.
Guys, this is just a joke. I think the trophy is fine. I just feel like they hyped up the trophy for nothing. Okay, to close, the last things I want to say that I want to touch on. The stories they don't tell you about Chiefs are the stories that make the difference. There's a story I used to get told, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But when Chiefs was getting started and it was still Kaizer 11, Kaizer Daum Senior and Ewet Lipnen, he was our PRO, the marketing guy. They did a ton of different things in the beginning to launch that team off. So one of the things they did was they did a cross-country roadshow. Tate Kaizer at the time was one of the most famous players. They'd taken some of those players from Pirates and some of the off-cuts from different teams, put them together and made a team, and they went all around the country playing games. They come to your hood, they play your most famous team. They start building connections. They start doing all those things. You don't wake up with a brand that is that big right now. You don't wake up and tomorrow you've got a brand. It's work. And I don't know what happened in our league, but we've created a culture where people are waiting for the handout. They're waiting for sponsors to just fall and say, hey guys, sponsorship, right? You know, later on now when you get sponsors and stuff like that, you have to write a proposal. You have to prove to them that, hey guys, my channel is this and I've got this many people and they're engaged like this. Look at the numbers I get, look at the comments. The last time I did a thing, this many people clicked, blah, 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 blah. You have to do those things. They don't just fall into your lap. And a lot of the teams, for me, are too afraid, or not too afraid. They don't want to do the work to go and grow a fan base. Why must somebody go and support you? Why must somebody go and follow you? Why must somebody go and watch your team? What am I getting? Why am I going? And sometimes it doesn't even have to be football. Yes, Amazulu. Wonke ama-taxi driver wase Amazulu. Wase KZN Amazulu. Right? Okay, there's youth football happening. Let's take our players there all around Bombela for every December, Kari 16, every Easter, we've got the players there, we're going to adopt teams. Okay, if you get full colors for football at your school, it's the Amazulu full colors, right? You start associating those things very early. If you're in Pretoria, most of the time, if you're in Pretoria and there's rugby playing, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see a Blue Bulls car, you're going to see one of the officials, they're going to be talking to the parents, they're going to be talking to the kids, they're going to be talking to whatever, they're going to be sitting there, they're going to have the little things. Tina, when I was little, the PSL teams used to come to a Tema Springs. Sporomangena, we used to see them, we used to see all the different players, we used to see all of the different team officials, the cars and all of that stuff. Those things build connections that build fan bases. But if you're just going to sit and we don't know when you're playing, we don't know who's on your team, we don't know why we should care about those guys, we don't know any of those guys, we don't know, how am I supposed to follow? I speak about Bafana all the time. Nah, Bafana, most people don't know that Bafana is on an unbeaten run. Bafana is doing so well. They don't know. How then must I support you? Tina, I can't see. Sometimes you could be pushing a car. I remember pushing a car with my father, and teenage dads pushed the car with us. Those little things, or wherever you see the guy sitting there. Like there's so many different connections that you make. I mentioned earlier in the show, when I was little, Chiefs and Ajax played at Tema Stadium. Those are the things that you do to build fan bases. And once you've got fan bases, you go to the clubs, you go to the sponsors and say, these are the people that we have. Every day, Buffalo City, can you sponsor us? These are the, however, when Chiefs goes to Vodacom, they go, these are the fans. These are how many Chiefs SIM cards have been sold. When they run a competition, just takes those things and goes to Vodacom and says, guys, this is how much you've made today off of Kaizer Chiefs. Kappa, this is how many this is how many kits were sold today. When they start the deal, you see her, Kaizer, on every news channel, every radio station, every whatever. There's work that goes behind fan bases and sponsorship. It doesn't fall out of the sky. When it comes to financial fair play, I'll have the episode, but I just wanted to say, I think financial fair play is a very interesting conversation, because if financial fair play doesn't exist to stop big teams only. It exists to make sure that all of your teams are commercially viable, which means that you are making money and you are spending money that you're making. You're not waiting for somebody to come in and throw money at the team for you to go and do crazy things. Right? So if somebody from outside comes in, we're trying to preserve the balance of the league to say that, look, all of these guys are commercially making money. But to be fair, there's a Manchester United, for example, who've been commercial for a very long time. They're one of the biggest teams in the world. They generate more money than Ipswich. There's a Man City who, through the money that has been spent, they can now go and get commercial things because now they are so big. They may not be able to spend to whatever, but they can now go and get the money. So my argument about financial fair play is fine. You'll bring in financial fair play. You'll close the taps. You'll close Motsepe's tap, Tate Motsepe's tap. You'll close Prajobo's tap. Go Richards Bay. You'll close this one's tap. Close that one's tap. You'll close everybody's taps. But commercially, Mamelodi Sundowns will be able to do more commercially than Richards Bay for where Sundowns is now. Chiefs can go 10 years because they've built that thing. If you close the tabs, Chiefs still has a very big brand. It doesn't go away overnight. So sponsors will still be drawn to Sundowns, will still be drawn to Chiefs, will still be drawn to Pirates, just off of the branding. If Sundowns can't do something, I'd sooner go to a team that doesn't have fans, that's playing in Africa, that's playing all over the place because I've got exposure, more than I would go to a Richards Bay, for example. All right? So that's why financial fair play doesn't work. What they also found, the reason why in England they have something called PSR now, I think it's called PSR now, is to say we know that we've done financial fair play, but what we found is that those billionaire owners have billionaire friends and have other dealings that they do. So now I've spoken to Zbanbani. He's going to come sponsor my team. Right on the back end, we're probably going to do a deal somewhere or do whatever. But he's going to come and sponsor my team. But now what they had to now look out for is, Manchester United is getting 100 million for sponsorship. That doesn't make sense because all of the airplane sponsorships are all 10 million. Now these guys are getting 100 million. There's ways around all of this stuff. And if we're looking at commercial value, I can tell you for free that Johan Rupert and Remgro and those places, Stellenbosch, Patrice Motsepe and his ties commercially, and all of those guys, sponsorships could come like this with very little oversight that's going to come in. That's another thing. England has a separate body that runs these things, but here it's the same people. Nobody's going to police that thing. So you're telling me that Patrice Motsepe, with all of his investments and connections and friends all over the place and all of that, you're telling me that 5 sponsorships won't come purely from that? For example, I'm just saying, Chiefs is the same. I mean, Jessica can make phone calls that other marketing managers cannot make, for example. So that's why I'm like, we think that financial fair play is going to work that way, but when financial fair play comes in, there's teams that are going to be able to survive, and there's going to be teams that are owner funded that will not be able to get the owner to put in money anymore, and the burden of having to find that sponsorship is going to be too much for those teams. More teams will die before you even reach Sundowns, before Sundowns dies. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to make all these things topics. For those who don't know, there's a normal show. The normal show is where we have discussions, straight discussions about a whole bunch of really big topics in South Africa. But obviously when it's in season, the games take over. We have watch-alongs, we have reviews, but for the most part, we have big discussions. All of the things we've spoken about, this is the taste of what we normally have. So please follow if you have not followed. The off-season is going to be very interesting. And we're going to have a lot of these conversations. I've written them down and we'll have them in full and everybody can jump in. I'm not always right. I don't know everything, but there's a lot of people who are incredible who are listening to the show, and you don't know everything about what you're talking about right now. Guys, thank you for joining me. I'll see you then tomorrow at 7 p.m. I believe, 7 p.m. I'll be back for the show. We'll do a review, a little mini review. Then we'll go into one of the topics and we'll take it from there, guys. It's been amazing. Thank you to those that commented. Thank you to those that gifted. Takibone, Mapulesi, Polerato, Kutuano, Gubi, Lawrence, Michelle. Thank you so much for the gifts. Guys, I've got a brand thing out right now, Sleeper app. It's an incredible app where you can keep up with football and news and all of those things in one place. It is free. So if you could please do me the favor of going to my profile, watching the video, commenting, liking, doing all those nice things, then downloading the app so that I can go to the brands and say my audience is an engaged audience, and I can go to them and they can fund all of this. So if you could please support me by doing that. Could you also support me by following on all platforms, specifically Instagram. My Instagram needs to grow. You just have to like. It's free, it's not money. Overthinking Football Show on that side. My podcast episode is out today where I speak about Sundowns' success and what is real success in South Africa, and are we sugarcoating some of what the Soweto Giants have done. It's available on YouTube in full. So please, guys, support. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.